All right, today we got a 2000 Plymouth Voyager, and this is the good old 413. This is a 3-speed trans, and this has no reverse. So we're going to tear this down. It works fine going forward. So I'm thinking these struts for the reverse band are known to break. Maybe something happened with the piston, but since the fact that it works fine going forward, I would think that we're just going to be looking at probably something in the rear band. So I'm going to get a little closer, and we're going to start taking all the bolts out, taking the covers off, and tearing this unit down. All right, so I got my 13mm socket, and I'm going to start by taking the two housings off. There's really not much to this trans. The only thing we got on this is right here. This yellow is the lockup solenoid, and here is your neutral safety switch here. That's really about it as far as electronics go. We can use a small extension to get these out. Alright, next we're going to get the 10. We'll start taking the cover bolts out. This cover back here houses the transfer gears. And there's your gears. Next we're going to take off the final drive cover. See if I can get something to keep this upright. Okay. Easier to get these bottom bolts out. Alright, we're going to pull this cover down. Alright, there is your final drive. Now we're going to take the covers off, the housings off, and we're going to pull this final drive out. This one just bangs right off. And this one I got to get a couple of screwdrivers in there. Alright, let me get another one from the drawer here. Okay. Alright, there's that. This will come right out. Okay. Now the one thing we're going to do with this is we're going to want to protect this cross pin from coming out and breaking the case, so we're going to get, they call them bat wings, so we're going to get a couple of those and put them on each side of the pin to protect it in case the roll pin breaks, which is pretty common. And the spider gears look good, so that diff looks okay. Bearings look good. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, get this out of the way now. All right, we're going to take an 8mm and take the pump bolts out. I'm going to use a slide hammer and slide the pump out. But actually, before we do that, I'm going to loosen up the band adjustment for the intermediate band. Got to grab my socket. Okay. Alright, when we put these back together, these pump bolts, it's a good idea to put some Loctite on it, because it's common back in the day for these bolts to become loose and this leak out of the front. Alright, so here's the slide hammer. It has some threaded holes here. And that pump comes right out. Here's the pump. Here is the intermediate band. We're going to open all this up. Here's a little washer for end plate. This is selective. Alright, now I have to get my snap ring pliers. All right, let me get those. Okay, this little clip holds the front planet set in. All right, here's the front planet set. We're going to be taking this apart. That's held with a snap ring. Here is the shell and the rear planet. This, of course, comes apart. Washer here. Okay, another washer. All right, and just by looking at this, it looks like the strut is out. So more than likely that it's possible that strut may have broke. But you know what? Let's take the pan down. Take the valve body out. Alright, you know, I'm just going to let this drain for a minute. I'm going to get rid of some of this oil. I'll be back in a sec. Alright, here is the, that's the band strut for the intermediate band. Alright, so now I'm going to get this pan down. Let's get a little closer. here is the strut. That's the reverse strut. It looks intact, so maybe the band did break. Okay, let's get that filter off. That is a T25. Filter gasket, which is a little torn up. Alright, we'll put this down here. Alright, I'm looking at the band now, and actually here is the piece to the band. So we definitely have a busted band. So let's get this valve body off. Okay. I'm going to take this spark linkage out. Alright, now we're going to take the tens out and get the valve body out. Alright, we're going to get the governor tubes out. It's the busted band, alright. Now let me get this drum out, and let me turn my lights back on first. Okay, now I'm going to pull the drum, the reverse band rods, and there's going to be a spring and roll kit in that, which is going to be changed. You know, it's like a sprig, but I always change those. And I'll show you the band. Right here is the band. So this piece, of course, would go right here, and it's broken right off. So that's our problem. Alright, here's the spring and roller kit. Yeah, it's pretty much a bunch of rollers. All right, let me just clean my hands here one sec. It's a bunch of, just like a sprig. Bunch of rollers and the springs. And you know, it turns one way and locks the other. And they all sit in here. Okay, then we got a big washer all the way down at the bottom that rides on. Haven't done one of these in a while, but there's the washer. Okay, now what we're going to do is the strut for the intermediate band. We're going to take that out. And take the rod out. And that'll come out. That goes in here just like that. Alright, now we're going to flip this thing up. And we're going to take the locks off of these transfer gears. We're going to take the transfer gears out. We're going to totally strip the case down, the final drive and everything. out. You know, that applies fans. All right, so we have locks here that keep the end nuts from coming loose, so we gotta take those out. So we gotta bend these tabs down. Okay, now this side. And I think that's it. No, there is one more there. Okay, so those are 15. Let me find my 15 socket. Okay, let's see if it's up here. Yes, it is. All right, so we got two short 15 bolts, and then here is what peens the, you peen it over so the little bolts can't come loose, and here's what the lock looks like. So the end nuts don't come loose. Okay, same setup. All right, now let me just get my 30mm socket. That's what it should be. Alright, so this one we can take off. That and the washer. And this one we're gonna kind of just hit this down. This gear we'll have to pull off with the puller. This one we're gonna just hit down. Let me get... Okay. Now this will come out. This will come off. Alright, so I have this piece here that goes in between the two. And this is your rear ring gear. And just in case this rear ring gear is bad, this does press off of this little shaft, so you can change it. Alright, now let me get my puller set up. I can actually... Well, you know what, I'll just pull it off one at a time. I can probably sneak the snap ring out and pull everything out at once, but let me get my puller set up and we'll pull that gear off. Alright, so I got my puller. And let's see if we can pull this thing off. Okay, that came off. Alright, here is the housing for the governor, the rings right here, and the two tubes in the valve body go right in here. Okay, here is the little spacer for the, like the other one had for the bearing. Now this should come right off. Alright, now you got one valve on this governor that actually floats, but you know what, I'm going to separate the governor from that housing, so we can look at that in a little bit. Okay, so now we got to get the snap ring out. And I think what I'll probably see if I can use is a bent pair of pliers. Let's see if I can hit this down, get a little more room. Alright, let me get my bent snap ring pliers, the ones that are at about a 90 degree. I want to see if I can get it out with these. Okay, that came right out. Okay, and here is the pinion. Got a bearing here, here's the cover. Snap ring. Okay, so case is pretty much stripped. Now we just got to get our pistons out for the bands and for the accumulator. Let's turn this back around. And okay. All right, let me flip these over. Okay, first we'll do the accumulator. Alright, little spring and the piston. Gotta watch this piston, sometimes they crack. But again, this thing worked good forward, so I think this one will probably be okay. So that's what this setup looks like in the case. Looks just like that. All right, the second one we'll do for the intermediate band. Sometimes that gets stuck in there. Which it is. So I might have to just blow this thing out with some air. Alright. I'm just going to put you guys on hold for 1 second. I forgot to turn the compressor on. Alrighty. So I was hitting on this thing and actually popped up. So I actually did need the air. So here is the cover on this one, and here is the spring and piston. So this is what this setup looks like when it's in the case. That's for the second speed band, and then it's held down with this snap ring. Alright, and here this rod sticking down here holds the band, the reverse band. That just slides in and out. Alright, the last thing we got to get out is the reverse band. So I'm pushing down, okay, to get the spring out. Alright. Alright, and here's this piston. That's the piston for the reverse. So this setup would look like this in the car, in the trans. And this spring is fat on one side and skinnier on this side. So the skinny part's going to go in, and then it goes over like that. All right, so this case is completely stripped down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get organized here, and we're going to go through the drums. We'll open up the pump, we'll look at the governor, and get this thing going in the tank to get this rebuilt and back in the car. All right, so I'll be back with you in just a few. All right, so let's start opening up these drums. We'll do the forward drum first. Clutch is probably be in pretty good shape, I would think, because like I said, this worked okay forward. All right, yeah, these look not too bad, but you know what, the teeth, wow, the teeth are extremely worn out. Wow. I don't know if you can, how well you can see the teeth here, but they're just about gone. I mean, this thing probably eventually would have stopped moving forward eventually, or slipped real bad, but these teeth are way worn out. So these are definitely going to have to be changed. All right, let's check the direct. The direct clutch top snap ring is a wavy one versus the one in the forward drum, that's just flat. All right, these don't look too bad, but I did order a banner kit, so we are going to change them. All right, so these are the drums. Okay, and on this side, on the forward drum, you have a washer here that goes straight down. Actually, it looks like it's a little worn out because it fits a little loose in there, so I'm going to look into getting one of those. All right, now this is the planet here. You got a washer here, front planet. And we're going to take this snap ring out. Okay, here's the snap ring. And then there is this washer tends to get stuck on there. This washer usually should be changed because it gets a groove in it, you know, from the snap ring. Some people maybe just turn them over. I just like to replace it because it doesn't really cost that much. Let's see if we can get this out. All right, this here, the washer head fell down. Let me see if I can get this out, because it might have been flared at the end. Okay, that's coming. Let me get something else just to bang this thing out. Okay. All right, this bushing still looks okay. Another washer here, and this is your front planet, 5-pinion. Okay, you just want to check these gears, make sure they're not rocking back and forth. They may move up and down a little bit, but the rocking is what you want to check for. That means the inside these gears is warm, but this looks pretty good, and that washer was good. All right, here is the pump. I'm curious to see if this is the updated pump. I believe in 2000 they switched the pump over to like the gerotor style. So let's see what this looks like. And that is This doesn't have your conventional gears, you know. This has like your rotor style gears. There's another name I think for this, but can't remember the name. All right, so here is your pump. Got the two flats on the inside for the torque converter. Okay, just real quick on this valve body. These are your governor tubes. These will come out. Okay, on this side we have your lockup solenoid attached to the valve body, of course. And if you're wondering what this tube is, this was added, I think, in the 2099 or 2000 model year. This is a bypass tube. This is used for like extreme cold conditions where it will allow, it'll go right back in to the loop circuit on extreme cold conditions. You know, for better durability and stuff like that. So I guess instead of maybe going through the cooler, once it gets heated up, it'll probably go through the cooler then. But until then, it goes right back into the loop circuit. And again, under very cold conditions. Okay, now I'm going to get this governor out here. And those are little 7mm bolts. In case you do one of these and the governor is stuck. Typical stuck governor would be second gear starts, maybe third gear starts. And then what you do is if you're starting out in third gear, you pull the shifter down to manual 1. If it takes off in manual 1, you know, okay, then you know you got a stuck governor. But these are serviceable if it is stuck from inside the car. You got to drop the pan and you got to drop the valve body, then you got to get your 7mm wrench and take the governor out and get another one, or free the valve up, whatever you got to do. But it is serviceable within the car. Okay, so you got your 3 tiny governor bolts. These two are like line-up bolts. They got the shoulders on them. Okay, and here is your governor. Here is your governor screen that sits right in the middle. Governor screen sits right in there. Okay, so we have one that's held in with a spring, one valve, and then this one kind of just floats. This will come right out, this valve. And, you know, they say that if, right, this is the valve here. And if you sometimes have a second gear start, maybe after overhaul, they would want you to grind a couple of flats in this last land, you know, very carefully. And what that would do is create an exhaust in case this is getting, you know, stuck for reasons like that, you know, other than debris or something hanging the valve up. So that would create an exhaust for the oil. Okay, but this thing seems, this governor seems pretty free. You know, again, we didn't have any issue with this thing driving it, but doesn't mean we're not going to have an issue with it once it's overhauled and back in the car. And this valve is free. And they also sell these housings new. All right, and then you have your 3 rings, Teflon rings, which are going to be changed. Again, your governor screen here. Okay, so that's about it on this 413. And again, like I said, with this final drive, I'm going to order a set of bat wings that cover the cross pin so it does not come out. Actually, I'm going to put you guys on hold, see if I actually have a set. I don't know if I do. I'll be right back. All right, I actually do not have a set to show you how it fits, but you take these 2 bolts out and then you put the piece in. It goes around this bolt and covers the cross pin, like I said, but I do not have a set. I got to order a set. One last note on these, like these shells, these sun gears, you want to check these. These tend to pit a lot, so you just want to look at that real close. And I guess that's about it. So 2000 Plymouth Voyager 413 trans. We had no reverse due to a busted band. I thank you guys for watching once again. You guys have a great day. I just want to give you guys a quick shot of the bat wing that protects the crosspin on that differential. That's pretty much what it looks like, how it bolts up to the diff and protects the crosspin from coming out and breaking the case. So I just want to give you guys a quick shot of that.